Hey everybody, my name is David. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like this video, comment on this video, and share this video, especially if it's helpful. If you've watched any of my videos before, you know I've mentioned that my wife and I own 20 acres in southern rural Ohio, and the crazy thing about it is never owned this much land before. So again, to some people 5 acres is a lot, to some people 100 acres is a lot, but to me 20 acres is a lot. One of the challenges that I had when I first moved in here is I started noticing that there were areas in the yard that just seemed like there were tunnels being dug. Now, by me being a city boy, I had no idea what the heck they were. So I'm taking pictures of what the ground looks like, and I'm showing my friends that live around here, and they're like, Dave, I think you got moles. Now, I heard that there are moles, there are these things called voles, you got groundhogs, you got all kind of stuff. So I'm trying to figure out what it is, but the overall consensus that I came to was that they were moles. I never saw them because they stay underground. So what I did was started researching, trying to figure out the best way to get rid of these little suckers. Okay, they were getting on my nerves. I tried all kind of traps, I tried smoking them out, none of that stuff worked. But I did come across one particular trap that helped me. And the good thing about it is, instead of buying multiple traps, because I'm out here every week cutting the grass, I bought one trap, and what I would do is I would look at where the runs were, and I would place the trap in the area where the runs were, and then after that, what I would do is come back the next day, and I had a mole. It was like every few days I was catching a mole. I was excited because these things were tearing up the yard. So anyway, I'm going to show you the particular trap that I use. Okay. So I'm sure if some of you have been using traps or trying to find ways to get rid of your mole problem, you've probably seen one of these before. Okay. Now, I particularly didn't know what I was going to get when I bought this one, but I like it. Because what happens is, if you look at these two spikes right here, what you do, so let's say for example that the mole, their run goes this direction. You put this in line with their runs or their paths that they're digging, and when you step on this side of the plunger, what happens is it pushes it down. And when it pushes it down, these little scissor looking things right here, they open up like this. So what happens is when the mole runs through like this, and it's digging its hole and it's pushing up the dirt, if you look here, you see like this little plunger thing right here. So what happens is when you push this down into the ground, I can't do it because it's spring loaded right now, I'll show you in a moment, but when you push this down, this thing right here sits on top of the dirt right in this area here. So what happens is as the mole, do it this way, as the mole is going through the open scissors, what happens is when his back pushes up on that little plunger right here, what ends up happening is it releases the tension in that spring, and these scissors close, clamping down on his body, killing the mole. Now, a lot of people might think this is inhumane or something like that, but I tell you what, I'm not one of those type of people. If this thing was destroying my yard, or I should say these things were destroying our yard, and it was getting on my nerves because there was nothing I could do to get rid of them. And I tell you, ever since I've been using this thing, whenever I would see a hole pop up somewhere, or I would see an area where they looked like they were starting to work, I would place this trap in that area, and I'm telling you, within a day or two, I had a mole. So it worked great for me. So now I'm going to show you how I actually put these things in the ground and how they work. So I'm going to show you an area in my yard where they just about destroyed it. Let me zoom in the camera here. So if you look, you can see this patch here, this one over here, this one over here, this one over here, this one down here. I mean, these things were everywhere, just destroying my yard. So I'm going to show you exactly how you would set this mole trap in place. So here's a perfect example. This area right here is where the mole has been digging. And as it comes this direction, you probably can't see it, but this area here is raised up, and you can tell this is their path. So what I do is I take my trap and I find out where their run is. And what I want to do is whichever direction that it's going, so it's going like this. So what I want to do is I want to place this in their run like that. You can see how soft the dirt is, like they've been digging there. And then I want to use my foot and step on it. Okay, I'm going to pull this out so you can see what it actually looks like once it's down in there. You do have to be careful because these things are spring-loaded, but I'm just trying to show you how they work. So if you're putting it in the run this direction, like I showed you, when you step down on this part right here, what happens is the scissors open up. So the mole, when he's working his way through the scissors, this little piece right here sits on top of the dirt. It puts a little bit of pressure on the top of the dirt. So what happens is, as he's digging and his back is pushing it up, it pushes this up, which in turn releases the trigger, which is this part right here. See how it comes up? So what ends up happening is it pops up. What ends up happening is when this pops up, it closes down on the mole, ending their life. With me cutting about 8 or 9 acres, I see every square inch of this property, so I set one in place, see if I caught a mole. When I see that the thing is, when I drive by and I see that it's raised up like this, I know that I caught one, take it out of the ground, dispose of the mole, move on to the next one. Like I said, for me and my property, this particular trap has been amazing. This is the only one I have, and I've probably caught 10 moles. Like I said, other than this one little spot I just showed you, it's been virtually non-existent, especially on the more landscaped areas, like the front of the house where I really could see them destroying the yard. So if you're like me, it drove me crazy. So I had to do something to get rid of this problem. So I hope this information was helpful. And again, if you haven't already done so, make sure you subscribe to the channel, like this video, comment on this video, share this video, and I'll see you on the next one.